Good morning. It was a pleasure to watch so many children receive their first communion last week. And that reminded me of the day 4.5 years ago when I stood in front of the altar, was confirmed, joined the Catholic Church, and received the Eucharist for the first time myself. Since then, I felt welcomed into this community. I become a member of the St. Rose family. And that's part of the reason why I was not only willing but grateful for the chance to serve as the co-chair of the Archdiocesan Lord Renew Your Church Capital Campaign, along with Julie Sherman. Now, many of you have already gotten written materials about this campaign, and a few weeks ago, Father Paveglio announced the overall initiatives for both the diocesan and the parish efforts. The money raised for the Archdiocese is going to be used in 4 broad areas. First, a little over 10% is going to go directly to programs to provide services for the poor. About the same amount is going to be going to care for our clergy, both now and in the future. Some is going to go to sustain the cathedral and the basilica. After having been in their choir room at the cathedral and seeing the water stains on the wall, I think that's probably going to be money well spent. And the greatest part of the money raised by our parishes that will be sent to the Archdiocese is going to be used for education at the elementary level and at secondary and at the college. But even more of the money, over 60% of what we raise, and maybe even more if we reach our goal, 60% of the money we raise comes back here to St. Rose for our parish needs. Some of it's going to be used to restore our sacred space here. You may have noticed in the last few weeks some work being done on refinishing the pews. Much of it's going to be going to our parish school to support them in their work for faith formation and academic excellence. And the rest is going to be focused on evangelization efforts, on things like hospitality and small groups, retreats, and other faith-based activities. Our financial goal is for St. Rose to raise $1,435,000, and to date, we've reached 66% of that goal. We've had $950,000 or so already pledged by over 60 families. Now, I'm so grateful for everything that the Lord's given me, and donating to this campaign and encouraging others to do so has felt like a good way to demonstrate that gratitude and to give back to the Lord some of what He's given me. I'm especially grateful for the Eucharist and for the way that it allows me to join in union with our Lord and with all of you and with over 1 million Catholic Christians worldwide. I'm grateful for the way the church has helped me to grow. A few weeks ago, my wife and I were standing in our driveway with several friends, and one of them said to me that his mother was ill, and I told him that I would add her to my daily prayer list. And my wife said, "He will. You know, he's Catholic now. He's become a much better person." Yeah, that was the neighbor's response, and she said, "Wait, I didn't mean it like that," but in fact, it's true. Since joining the church in 2021, I've become more patient. I'm even more patient with other drivers. I'm even more patient with computers that don't do what I want them to do. I've become more generous with both my time and my money. Relationships with others, including the people in this room, have become more important to me, and my life has been filled with joy. I'm also grateful for the way that members of this church have invited me and encouraged me to work with them in service to others. John Adams and other members of the choir have welcomed me into that group so that we can provide music for our services. Kate Ritzer and the other members of the St. Vincent de Paul group, who are some of the most compassionate people that I've ever known, have allowed me to join them in providing service to our neighbors in need. Evie Wang has brought me into working with the children's choir, and you know, it's never boring with the kids, and it's really been a blessing. But all these opportunities have been centered here around St. Rose in this parish. One of the things I like about working with the Archdiocesan Capital Campaign is it allows me to participate in a worthwhile effort with our more extended faith family with our brothers and sisters across the Twin Cities region. So I'd like to encourage each of you to consider how you can support the Lord Renew Your Church campaign. I don't have a specific amount that I'm going to ask any of you to give. That's between you and the Lord. But I do ask that you would prayerfully consider how much He is asking you to donate to this cause. If you'd like to learn more, there's going to be a reception this Wednesday, which is April 29th at 6:30 in the parish hall in the lower level in the St. Peter room. There's going to be food there, and obviously other parish members. And more details are available in today's bulletin. There's the handout on there that tells you a number. If you know you're going to call, you can either call the number there, that's Courtney, our program director, or the church office, just to RSVP so that we get an idea of what we need to do for refreshments. So thank you for your attention today. Thank you for your continued support for this parish and for the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis. May God continue to bless all of us. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Art. And as you heard, come this Wednesday. It's open to everyone Wednesday evening in the Parish Center downstairs in the St. Peter room. That's the side of the building that has the elevator access by the street. Let us stand.